because I felt I needed to start pursuing it once I'd healed completely. But that statement, "you will be fine as long as you don't look back," is the reason why I'm sitting here today.
But I had done quite a lot of work, but the pain, residues of the pain were still there. And I just want to talk to a woman that might be watching, that sometimes we've got to give people a clean slate. Somebody might look a little like where you've come from, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to paint them with the same brush.
Emotionally, because now we're also talking about the emotional and mental transition, right, into marriage. And now it's not just into marriage, you guys were both previously engaged. And did that make you guard your heart more? How there kind of is that luggage that you guys both kind of had, and you guys had to work through it. So what can you share from having gone through that experience and now coming together in union?
Sure. Um, Interesting. I think that no breakup is easy or palatable. Um, Even in cases where they may have been abused or whatever the circumstances were, it is still painful because you loved that person and a huge part of you thought this was it, and then you then find out that it's not it. Um, I remember there was a time that I, was really struggling, just coming out of my previous engagement, and I spoke to my pastor, and he was very more of a rip the band-aid off kind of person, not coddle you. So he said a statement to me that I'll never forget, and maybe it will help in answering your question. He said to me, "You will be fine as long as you don't look back." And those words, even when I say them today, they carry so much weight because they anchored me in the reality that my future was ahead of me. Sounds obvious, but your future is not behind you. So saying you'll be fine as long as you look back literally translates to Lot's wife. Um, she never left Sodom. So when she looked back, she went back. And when she went back, she suffered the reality of what was going on in Sodom. She looked like sulfur had rained on her. So knowing that I'll be fine as long as I didn't look back helped me. Doesn't mean sometimes I didn't look back. Doesn't mean sometimes I woke up and I was wounded. In fact, when I met Mel, I was actually still healing. So maybe another day I'll tell you the story of how I went almost 6 to 8 months without really pursuing it because I felt I needed to start pursuing it once I'd healed completely. But that statement, "you will be fine as long as you don't look back," is the reason why I'm sitting here today. About my future.
Amen. Amen.
Um, yeah, that's really powerful. And I also took strain, quite a lot of strain from that statement as well, because when he shared his story to me, I think that statement stood out quite a lot to me. And even though for me, I think my engagement had broken way earlier before yours, probably like a year earlier before his, I think. But I had done quite a lot of work, but the pain, residues of the pain were still there, and they might not necessarily have been visible in the conversations that we would have or the friendship that we had built. But the very fact that he remained a friend as long as he remained a friend was because I was not ready. I was not ready to open up in that way. And I think that also just the similarities, not necessarily in character of the two individuals, but the similarities in position, in the sense that in the ministry. At some point in time, I'd literally say to God, "This is not my portion. I'm gonna be a minister. I'm gonna be a minister, but I ain't getting married to a pastor. Okay, I'm not going to be a mama ruti. I refuse it profusely. You know, I was just out of it now. I was completely content with being a minister. I was completely content with hosting the conferences and going back to my local church and being a worship minister there. Getting out of church and you know and going to my house and watching some type of series on Netflix, right? That was
Queen of the South.
the South or Money Heist. I was very happy with that, right? I completely said to God, I'm not going this route any longer. And I just want to talk to a woman that might be watching, that sometimes we've got to give people a clean slate. Somebody might look a little like where you've come from, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to paint them with the same brush. And it doesn't mean that they're the same person as whoever came before or how many other people came before.